everybody. My name is Katie. I am with Notary SWFL, and today I have Griselle here. She is with She Boss Mobile. She is a remote online notary that is going to give us a little bit of a sneak peek what it's like to be a remote online notary and some advice. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So how did you get into remote online notarization?
Well, I started off as a mobile notary, I think like the rest of the world. Started off as a mobile notary. I specialize in loan signing. That is my niche. That is something I just love to do. And I realized that remote was actually being more recognized. It was around COVID time. Also, I'm in Florida, so there's a lot of snowbirds. So a lot of signers were actually in Canada. And we were either doing split signings, waiting for packages to arrive, documents. It was just a delayed mess. And I realized more title officers were asking about remote online, but they didn't know too much information. So I started YouTubing, going to networking events, testing different platforms, and yeah, I just jumped in and I started telling everyone I was a remote online notary and I could save the day. So that has helped.
Yeah, good. You do this as your career, correct? Like this is
it. Yeah.
Well,
it's not it, but yes.
Yeah, no, it's like never. I feel like notaries are the most like hustling people that I've ever met. So it's like, yes, but then I have like a million other projects and everything else that I'm doing. But that's the nice thing about being a notary is that it gives you time to focus on doing other streams of income as well. I really like that, and it's nice to talk to other notaries because I'm like, what are you doing for your?
What are you doing? And that's how we learn, right? Being in these networking events and these rooms. And I actually learned that you don't have to be just a loan signing agent to save the day. There's attorneys, there's tons of different companies that need remote notaries. So I do this every day. This is not just for loan signing. This is for a tattoo parlor. Like, it's for everybody.
Oh yeah, I remember we both host regular meetups and remote parties and stuff like that. So we were on a party and you were talking about how you work with a particular tattoo shop for the parental consent, right? And so how did you kind of go about, because I know people are like, okay, well, you say this, but how did you actually get the business?
So I went ahead, I was marketing my business. So I was dropping off business cards to like local tattoo places, attorneys, nursing homes, you name it. I was just dropping off my business cards to like local businesses that I know would be easy to travel to. I noticed that mothers or parents would go ahead, contact me, almost like a 911. Like, I didn't know we needed this form signed. She wants to get this piercing now. I don't have time to be coming back. And, I would go and drop everything and run. But with Ron, I'm like, there's no running. Like, you don't have to meet me somewhere. I don't have to run. I'm busy. You're busy. Get on your mobile device. I'm going to send you a link. Get on your mobile device. We're going to sign it electronically. And the tattoo parlor actually agreed to have it just emailed to him, or he can visually see it, and then that's it. It's approved. So it just works. And he said it helps because most parents, they get frustrated. They leave and actually don't come back. So now he's like, I'm keeping this client because you're saving the day. Like, I love it.
Sometimes it's hard to like tell the business owner the value that remote online notaries bring, because we live in a I want this right now society. And then if you have the solution, sometimes it will make more goodwill towards that company. So like I've been doing marketing like in person. I've been handing out plants.
Love it.
But I have been going to the banks because I used to work at a bank. I know that usually we're not allowed to, like before I wasn't allowed to do certain documents. And so when I would tell them like, hey, I can't do this, they would get upset.
Oh yeah.
And so then what I do is I position myself and I'm like, hey, if you can't do these notarizations, I can. remotely. Like they can be in the branch or they can just, do whatever and I can just take care of it. And they're like, thank you so much. And they take my cards. So it's nice. Like if you're on the fence about going to like banks or credit unions or anything, I think that that's a good place to try and market your business to. So
it's a great place. I get clients all the time that calls me and they're like, my bank said it wouldn't do this or that, or the notary is not, in
available. Yeah.
I'm just like, well, I'll meet you. Like I can do it.
Yeah, that would be me where I would get calls when I was working at banks and everything because I was a notary. And sometimes I was the only one. And so if I was at lunch, they would sometimes call me like, when are you coming back? I'm like, yes. After my lunch is done. Like, so, I mean, sometimes I would come back and get it taken care of, but sometimes the notary won't do that. So it's kind of a nice way to guarantee that the notary will be there. It's someone that you can just call up and be like, hey, are you available right now? So that's nice. The other thing that I wanted to kind of touch on is I know that you were talking about one notary. Did you want to talk a little bit about that, or just like if in case people are not aware, for remote online notaries, we have to use specific platforms that are approved by our state in order to do the notarization. So it's like I always say it's like a Zoom and DocuSign combined. And so one of them, which I'm not super familiar with, is One Notary. Can you give me like a little bit of a breakdown or a rundown?
Sure. So I am using the platform One Notary, but not as an independent contractor. Surprise, surprise, I'm actually hired on.
Okay.
So that just means that I am clocking in for the platform. Mm-hmm. I have clients that are actually looking for remote online notaries, or they have contracts with certain companies, and that company will, of course, go ahead and tell them to use us, which is so helpful. So that means that we're busy and we're growing. Yeah. So when a client comes on, I'm there. They have a notary. So this platform is so different from what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. When it comes to user friendly, I feel like it is user friendly because there's a limited of icons you can use. So you're not exploring all these different options. It's pretty much just sign here or text here. Mm-hmm. That's it. So it's not much you can do. It is different as a notary side because I'm so used to tagging on my documents, having all these icons and just these different things I can do. I do feel limited, but what I love is that the client is looking for a notary and the client doesn't know if they need a witness. They feel like, oh, I just need notarized. That's all I was told. Mm-hmm. The document comes on, notary comes on, like, oh, wait, you are required to have 2 witnesses for this. I'm going to get some help. As like now that I have the, a little behind the scenes, we all have this chat. So we are looking for solutions. So we're like, hey, this section needs a witness 1 and witness 2. And we're like, yeah, I can go ahead and jump in. I love that we're solving the problem right there and then. We're not losing the customer. The customer is not leaving, trying to find witnesses or trying to find another platform. We are still walking through steps and helping the client. So I love that you can pause the session for 12 hours. Oh. So yeah. So let's say I'm meeting with a client. The client realizes, hey, this document is not updated, or I'm actually missing something, or there's another sign that's supposed to be on, and we can pause the session for 12 hours. That signer that just went through all the KVA or the biometrics, they do not need to do the whole, from step 1 all over again. They can skip that and just come on board again. So I love that.
That's nice because working with software and as a remote online notary, you kind of become the tech, the IT as well, which has always been like, I'm diving into software now. Like I'm like, okay, I see the value, like I'm gonna get into it. This is fine. But in the beginning, it's like, I just thought that I was gonna be able to get on my computer and like notarize stuff and just get off of my computer and then be done. But like for whatever platform, it's pretty, I mean, would you say it's pretty universal? So you're still going to get those calls that are like, hey, what do I do next? And it's like, well, click on the button that says continue, or, this is how you apply the signature. So that is kind of something that I don't know why I didn't think about that, but I didn't. And then now I'm just used to it where I'm like, all right, let's switch browsers. What about your network? Like, what are you doing with this? Like, it's a whole, step by step.
One Notary actually, so if the signer is having some tech issues, there's a function that says it pretty much prompts the signer what to do. Like, I'm not telling the signer what to do. So I'm letting the system know there's, audio issues. The signer will get a box and it will tell the signer what to do exactly. So
What?
yeah, so it will tell them like, make sure this is connected or test this, let's test that. I love it. So I'm not like, okay, let's do this and let's do that. Like other platforms, there's literally an icon, thankfully, that shows the signer like how to go about this.
That's really smart. That's really smart. That is cool because usually, I mean, the same thing what I just said, where you have to like walk everybody through, but that's nice. And like, I have a question for you. So I prep my signers. Do you send like an email? So when you're doing it as an independent notary, do you send like a prep email to them as well?
So if I'm doing it as an independent notary, yes. So I have a template I pretty much created. The template also has a link. So for example, if I'm using Blue Notary, there's a link to a video that shows them how to go on to the platform using biometrics or KBA. So I have this template that can just like switch up a couple of words and it literally tells them step by step what to do. Some people ignore the email, so that's why I have a visual there. I have a video.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to read it, that's fine. Watch the video.
Yeah. Yeah, and I ended up, I do that too, where I do some unlisted videos on like my YouTube, and then I send that over as like a, hey, if you don't want to read my step by step, you can just watch this video, and it's like 2-3 minutes long, how to get signed on, and I feel like that's cut down on time. So
it has, definitely.
Yeah, because otherwise I was kind of like waiting for people to get signed on. And then do you send text reminders too, or?
So I do. Okay, so you learn as you go, right?
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was a little messy and unorganized. I figured, all right, well, I put the information in the system. The system's going to populate like an email of a link. They're good. They're fine. No, I learned that you really have to walk every step with them and hold their hands and remind them like, hey, we have a meeting tomorrow at this time. Hey, we have a meeting today at this time.
Yeah.
Make sure you have your identification, you know, a lit room, no hats, no sunglasses. Like, I literally have to break down everything, but that has cut the time down. Oh my gosh. Like, so just preparing yourself, you are going to have an amazing closing. It's going to be a breeze. And well, if technology, works, it's going to be a breeze. So if you prepare yourself, you're going to have a great closing.
Yeah. And then, so are you doing that yourself? Are you texting that yourself, or did you you're using, okay.
Wait, what do you use? I use everything like myself. Like I personally.
No.
What do you have going on?
Oh my gosh. Well, so much. I'm going through like a self-growth, like I'm improving my business, whatever. So I use Calendly as my scheduling app. And then I add like workflows. So Calendly is a scheduling app that I use, and it's there's a paid version and a free version.
Yeah.
In the paid version, you can add workflows. So like, let's say Jane Doe is signed up for tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I have it set up so that as soon as Jane Doe books, it sends a confirmation email to her and to me. And then like the day before, it sends a reminder email to her and to me. And then it sends a text message reminder to her and to me. And then also, yeah, but I'm like actually really excited about this. In the email for the hour before, I think, either the hour before or 24 hours is my walkthrough of like, this is how you get signed on. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure that you have like your ID, your like a laptop, or a, like the things that you need. It has taken down so many of my confused calls by like so much, because I still want that personalized touch, but also I know that people like don't always necessarily want to spend this much time thinking about remote online notarization like as a client. Like they don't need to know our whole entire business. Like they literally just want it to be like a 10-minute thing and then never think about this in their entire lives again. So I'm like, I can go into it and tell you like the history of, whatever, but usually they just want to read it and be done with it, meet me, and then go. And then also I use it for the workflow at the end to send like a thank you. And then, and then a Google My Business review. So if you do like a Google My Business, and you can do it so that it'll text a review.
You see, I do this all manually, and now I'm like, you know how much reviews I could have had by now if it's just like automatic?
Well, okay, that was the only thing though, is like, yeah, it's nice, but if you have like a horrible closing or anything, like if there's bad tech issues or anything like that,
they'll blame you.
Yeah, so I don't know if you always want to send it. So it's kind of like hit or miss if you want to send a Google My Business review, or like maybe just try and get it before it goes out. But that has been a lot nicer because like I'm trying to automate my life. If I could automate everything,
that's the way to go, honestly. I feel like I would be thinking about Ron less myself, not as a client, as a notary.
Yeah.
And I can actually have more time to probably take more clients or do other things if I switch over to that mindset too. I'm such like a control freak, I think.
I know. That's honestly, I have found that I am not easy to manage. So, I mean, yeah, but that's something that I'm trying to get figured out, because like if I didn't have to go through and do like the troubleshooting, I could knock out like 2 notarizations in the time that it takes me to do like 1, if they just like people could kind of figure it out. How many notarizations do you usually like to do a day now at the point that you're at right now?
So right now I am a loan signing agent. So loan signings, they can be quick if the client is like, hey, I've seen these documents before, I just want to sign. Or they can take up to an hour and a half if the clients want to break down every single number and be a reader. And again, you are working for title, you're working for a lender, so you have to make sure you are very nice.
Yeah.
Don't rush the process. And almost like have control, but also let the client know that they have control as well. So if they want to sit there and break down those numbers, you can go over the summary, right? You can go over what's there. You can explain the what, but not the why.
Yeah.
But if they want to stop and be like, well, I need to know why, then there's other factors that play into that. We have to stop. We have to call title.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyways, so when it comes to loan signing, I do about 3 a day on average. The most I feel like I can fit in my schedule without getting overwhelmed is 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I feel like anything over 4 and I'm like a stress ball. So and I'm like, it's, that's nice and everything, but at the same time, like, I'm sure it translates to the clients too, that I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like, let's get this done. I don't want you to read anything. So like,
when it comes to loan closing, I also prep my documents.
Yeah.
So title office will send me the package beforehand, and these packages can be 15 pages or it can be 200 pages. Some documents require initials on almost every page. So like it just depends what's going on. So now I'm focusing on, okay, I need to take these clients, but also have time to prep these documents. Review the documents as soon as they come in. So if there's a misspelled name or anything, well, title has time to revise the document. So when you're a loan signing agent, there's so many other hands involved. So I feel like it does take longer to complete those appointments. But there's days where I don't have any loan signing and I just have, I guess what you can say, general notary work, what people call it. And I'm like, yeah, back to back, like easy breezy, loving it.
Yeah.
There's no prepping. We don't need it. Just go ahead and sign. Let me notarize and do my thing. But yeah. So
when I get construction, when I get construction work, I love it because usually like, I don't know any of I don't know the lot information or like the signers, all of so they have to fill it out like usually prior, and then they just need the notarization and then we're done. And usually it's like 2 or 3 pages of like notarizations and then that's it. So it's like whenever construction people call or like, proof of loss for insurance, I'm like, yeah, let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. It'll take 2 seconds. So that's always nice. The other thing that I have found to be helpful is I gave like the people that I work with a lot, like my title companies or like my construction or law, is like a little bit of a outline of what I need. So usually before I was doing it, like, do you do that too?
So I had to. They would put in an order, give me the person's name and phone number. Sometimes it was an international number and it would take me forever to get in contact with this person. And I'm just like, okay, now when these orders are submitted, I need an email. Please. I need email. Sometimes they actually have a copy of like the person's passport. So I'm comparing the name to what's on the documents. But yeah, more details, the better.
Yeah. So I sent out a cheat sheet because like I used to have it where there would be like 6 signers and then I would try and be like, they would just give blocks of the emails, but not all of them, and then the names, but not all of them, and then the numbers, but not all of them. So then I would like be writing down like the name, like Jane Doe is like Jane Doe at gmail.com. And I like write it all down and I'm like, this is, so that way I could
oh my gosh,
let them know like, hey, I need these people too. So now I have it where I'm like, can you please just send over like the name, the email address, and a contact number for me?
I love that. So quick story, I promise it'll be quick. I had a signing service reach out to me and they said I have one deed that needs to be notarized remotely. And I'm like, yeah, I can take care of that. Great. How many signers? Oh, just 2. The deed has 6 signers. So now I'm confused. I'm like, are the other individuals signing in person? Like this is what happened?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I didn't even notice there was 6 signers. Like, so here I am with one phone number, basically putting all the pressure on that one phone number I had, letting him know I need the names, I need the emails, I need like he's like, I'm in Mexico, like I have a lot. It was just insane. So yes, more details, the better. Honestly.
Yeah. And then it also kind of depends on the way that the notary like certificate, the block is set up. So like, because I always look at that too, because sometimes in the very beginning I would get confused where I'm like, am I notarizing for all of these people or just these? Like sometimes what I kind of tell title company is, and especially if I'm coordinated with like 4 different people and they're not sure that they're all going to be able to be available at the same time, I'm like, hey, can you make it separate so that there's a separate block for each person? So that way it doesn't really matter if they can't all be there at the same time. So like the multiple signers, different locations, that's kind of how I'm like, can you please do it like this? So that way.
I love that they do that. I have to add loose certificates. I have to cross out names. I'm like, come on, people. Like I gave you my instructions.
Yeah. If they're not sure if they can all be on at the same time or they have like different schedules, I just ask them to separate the notary blocks so I don't really have to worry about it. It does. And then it makes it easier for like if I have to have a witness for each one, so that way the notary block is separate, because otherwise what would sometimes happen is like I would have to try and get the same witness for each time, and I'm like, it just makes it not as fun for everybody. So, I mean, I'm doing, we're partnering with the business owners to make it the easiest possible way for the signers. So that way they have a good experience too.
Yeah. Notaries, are you listening to this? You have to problem solve. You have to find solutions.
Yeah.
Think of ahead of the curve, I guess, or be ahead of the curve, or however you say it. But oh yeah, you have to be proactive in this. You can't just show up.
No, there's like a lot more that I never really would have thought about. And then now I'm glad that I have those resources and like that under like my tool belt.
Yeah.
But it's constant. Like I've been doing this for going on like 11 years now as a notary, and I still see stuff that I'm like, what does this mean? Or like, what are they asking for this? So it's just constant. Like there's always going to be something new, but you just have to be kind of resourceful and like collaborate basically as much as you can, because like for when I started out, I thought that everybody was not really going to be as open as what they are, and it like 10x my business growth by like hanging out with everybody.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
I feel social media helped me a lot. Just meeting individuals, meeting different people in different levels of this, field. And if I need help and the person I'm texting is not answering, then I'll go ahead and post a story and get answers.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And then like I had someone walk me through how to do something, and they were like, okay, go on to this website. It was for like an apostille that I wasn't quite sure on how to do. And she was like, no, you can do this. We'll do this together. And I was like, I love you so much. Thank you. I mean, it's just constant all the time. Collaborate is 100% the way to go. Yeah. Okay. Well, before we head off, how can we find you?
Oh, so go ahead and type She Boss Mobile, and I will come up on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I am an Instagrammer. That's home. That's my family.
Yeah.
So She Boss Mobile. You can DM me, and I will reply, and I will go ahead and show you how my day goes and give you tips and lessons.
Yeah. Because that's how we met. We met through social media. So it's like Instagram. I don't think we've never met in person. Like,
no, not yet.
Not yet, but soon. Okay. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me, and feel free to subscribe.